heart attack, fast fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet now, get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirisho here, and let us begin. Whenever we last left off with this series, we had Izuku Midoriya, and/or his strange occurrence. Now, Midoriya, whenever he did go to the mall and check out some CDs and a few other things at a music store, there was a loud explosion, and he smashed his head against something. As soon as that did happen, it basically began to trigger his quirk, unintentionally, except to a bit more of a rapid extent. Now, with that being said, this basically means that while Midoriya was moving around in slow motion, everyone who saw him whenever his quirk activated, deactivated, all thought that he was teleporting. And there was the way that Midoriya tried to explain his quirk afterwards. Now, with that being said, Bakugo did help him home, and he did actually meet Jiro. Now, roughly about a couple days later, Midoriya has sufficiently recovered from his injury, and quite a lot of people are still talking about it. Midoriya and Bakugo, both of them are going to go to UA, or at least try and take the entrance exams. Midoriya is still talking and thinking about taking that recommendation. It's a very big deal. And, as they are currently thinking about that, there is, well, today, and the strangest occurrence yet. There is suddenly a knock on the door of, well, their classroom. And the teacher walks over and opens it, backing up and screaming like a fangirl. "Sense, I am here," All Might says proudly. Everyone's freaking out, and all going somewhat ballistic with their overreactions. All Might telling all these young aspiring heroes to calm down, and that he is here because he personally wants to talk to, well, the young boy who helped save that young girl's life. In fact, he does want to have a private conversation with both of them. Now, with that being said, All Might pulls aside Midoriya first. As the two are walking out the door, All Might is asking a question. "Exactly what was your quirk, young man? You had a strange ability. You were moving everywhere all at once." As soon as they walk outside, All Might tells the young boy to simply meet him outside, as All Might does one simple thing. He moves with a certain amount of power, a certain percentage. Not enough to destroy everything around him, but just enough to make him launch off at heightened speeds, faster than the human eye can see. Now, as soon as All Might did that, Midoriya began to follow. And eventually the two are out, well, in the school fields. And All Might does actually begin to talk with Midoriya, explaining to him that he was actually very good the other day, and that he does want to learn a bit more about his quirk. He was able to get information from the school principal at UA, and finding out that they actually did send him a recommendation, he was able to look up the school. So he came right here. He came here as soon as he learned it. And he actually does have somewhat of an idea. Now, All Might then informs Midoriya about one for all, instructing the young boy and stating that this offer is quite simple. He believes that the young man, well, if he gives him his quirk, it can help him a lot, and it can actually further develop something that he wants to pass on. Now, Midoriya is confused, asking All Might exactly why. And All Might does go on explaining that, as he shrinks down, somewhat making Midoriya back up, and begin to somewhat activate his quirk. As soon as he does, time, or at least his perception of it, slows down a little bit. All Might is barely able to bring his hand up to even begin to try and even cough up the blood in his hand. Now, All Might is bringing this up, and it takes about 20 to 22 seconds in normal time. Now, this is how much time it takes for Midoriya. Meanwhile, for All Might, he does this in relatively about 2 seconds. Now, with that being said, Midoriya was able to process what happened, and learning that this is the actual All Might, after talking a bit more, yeah, it's very surprising. Now, All Might goes on to explain that he talked with Principal Nezu, and he himself has been looking for valuable candidates for his quirk, and he believes that he might be the best one yet. Now, he goes on to state that he was fighting against a villain one day, explaining his injury and that he was somewhat too slow. However, with the boy's astounding speed and One For All's boost behind it, it would be able to elevate him to another level. Now, with that being said, Midoriya does actually try and explain All Might. That's a bit too fast, even for him. He's still not even too sure about taking the recommendation for UA. And All Might does explain that he wasn't just going to give him this quirk. That is not how it works. Midoriya would have to train for it, since there's a possibility at the fact that his own ability, or well, even One For All itself right now, might kill him, or at the very least make all of your limbs go exploding off of your body. And Midoriya, somewhat vocalizing, that he's not too sure if his healing would actually help against that. Healing? Wait, young man, you have a healing ability. Somewhat. I sort of just heal faster than others, that's it. I see. Well, then I guess my request would be out of the question. Anyways, young man, please do consider my offer. And if you do want to talk, he says, telling Midoriya to meet him at, I believe it's called Dagobah Beach. Do I have that right? I feel like I do, but I might be wrong. Anyways, now, Midoriya does suddenly just pop back into class, using his quirk, and then informing Bakugo that All Might is out and wants to talk to him. Now, with that being said, Bakugo is pulled out of the class by All Might. Everyone asking questions and trying to see what Midoriya did. Did he get All Might's autograph? Did he do all this, all this? What kind of questions did he ask him? Yeah, it's a whole thing. Now, with that being said, Bakugo, he then does talk with All Might. All Might congratulating the young boy and asking him questions about his own quirk, and exactly how the boy does try and use it. He does somewhat learn a bit more about it. Explosions. A very offensive capability. And somewhat beginning to understand this boy's sort of mindset. The boy, from the way he is talking, he does seem different from what he saw back during the combat. The boy seemed riled up, and somewhat ready just to knock someone's lights out, in the best way you can think about it. Then there is right now. He's a bit calmer. You can actually talk with him. But there's a chance that he might be unpredictable. So, he's, what's the best hero to point him out as? I would say Endeavor, but even Endeavor is not as calm as this young man. Now, with that being said, he does actually send Bakugo back to class. And Midoriya, he does actually think about this offer all day. After school, he heads to the music shop and is trying to talk to the guy. Whenever he was talking with him, he sort of had that information slip out of his head. The custom piece of earphones he can get from a hero company. He wants to go there and see if the guy can give him any recommendations. Or at least some pointers as to where to look. He's fairly certain that some companies would like to manufacture a hero costume for him, especially if he's going on a recommendation, so he might be able to get it for free. Since, hey, whenever this kid's a pro, we're the ones who made his costume and his outfit. So, it would be good business. He knows that some places work like that and will hand some things out for free, but at the same time, he's literally just going to be asking for a pair of earphones. So, maybe. Now, Midoriya does eventually get there, and he is talking with the guy. The guy is surprised to see Midoriya again on his feet so soon, and Midoriya is surprised to see that the shop was repaired so soon. Good insurance. Now, with that being said, eventually Jiro does walk up and begin to talk with them, thanking Midoriya again for the other day and actually pointing out that if he's going to be here for some more CDs, then he should probably look over there in that area. Somewhat pointing out that a lot of people, over in that area usually get big name and more well-known bands. So a lot of these CDs over there are small-time bands, if he does want to look at them. And then there's over there. Her pointing out small things about the shop, some things Midoriya knows, some things he didn't really know. Now, Midoriya then does go on actually talking about music with her. And the two do actually go on a bit of a, rant about it. Jiro is very heavily invested in certain genres. Midoriya can relate because he listens to those genres, but then there's the fact that he's also throwing in more topics and things for discussion. And eventually, they do leave the shop, go their separate ways, and Midoriya does begin to run to the beach, getting there in a few minutes. Now, Midoriya is then just thinking, All Might said that he would be here, right? Where is he? Where is he? Looking from the left and turning to the right, as All Might is now on his right. And he's somewhat surprised. All Might just surprised him again. What the hell? What is your quirk? You know what my quirk is, young man. It's an enhancement. Yeah, but still. Can you not sneak up on me like that? Oh, but you would take all the fun out of this. This training isn't just for you. What? What are you talking about? Well, you see, your training, I believe that it would be more hands-on. And with my own speed, or at least using my own ability, one for all, I should be able to match you. And outpace you. Wait, you think you can outpace me? Why, young man, I am very well aware that I can. Really? Well, alright then, All Might. I'm actually kind of curious about this now. I've always wondered which one of us were faster. Now, the two actually do get on the beach. And after they get into a running stance, All Might tells the young boy that on his go, they will leap off. And Midoriya, he just immediately activates his quirk and takes a step off with his left leg. Midoriya gets roughly 5 to 8 steps ahead of All Might in slow motion. As soon as he does that, he does actually look behind him. And All Might, he already stepped off with his left leg. And it looks like he's already 2 steps behind Midoriya, who then turns back forwards and just begins to keep running. Now, with that being said, as Midoriya does so, he actually does try and kick off his shoes. He thinks that that might be a problem. He's running with shoes, and they're running on the beach. Even All Might is running barefoot. Now, as soon as Midoriya kicks off his shoes, he does begin to just run, too. Him and All Might running for an entire mile. They didn't really state where the finish line was. However, All Might did point out that they were going to a rock. And All Might was able to leave Midoriya in the dust. And Midoriya was genuinely surprised. He just lost a foot race. Now, All Might is standing there triumphantly, somewhat breathing a bit heavily, but at least saying, "Young man, you did put up a very good fight. However, my ability has been accumulated for generations. And your ability, I am still not sure of." Oh. You see, I thought it was a form of wind. It's a whole thing. But I think I learned a bit about it more a couple days ago. I can slightly manipulate time in order to increase my own running speed. For roughly a few seconds, I might be able to almost turn time to a halt. And during those few seconds, I can take a few steps. After that, things begin to speed up. I'm not sure how fast it is, but I've been able to clock myself in at, if I think my math is right, somewhere around 800. 800 miles. That is incredibly slow. Slow? Yes, young man. Even I could run 800. Now, this training isn't just about getting stronger. It is about humility. And that there is always somebody stronger than you. Yeah, All Might. Okay. But if we're gonna try that again, I do at least want to do something. Now, with that being said, they do start over again, racing back. Now, with that being said, Midoriya tries to focus on his quirk. As soon as he does step off, he just begins to go faster. And he sees things the way Quicksilver actually does for seconds, as he is barely manipulating time while he's moving. His perception is slowed almost to a halt, and he's purely focusing on slowing down. Now, as soon as he does so, he can actually somewhat see All Might's movements a bit more clearly. Within a brief second, you see All Might's muscles flex, and he does take a step off. If you weren't paying attention or you didn't really see it, it happened within a second. All Might is using some sort of, ability to manipulate wind around him, just like whenever he moves. So, All Might's probably using a lot of power at once to move. That's how he's so fast. I get it now. Now, with that being said, Midoriya does actually focus on running too. And it is shown throughout this entire day of them running back and forth across the beach that Midoriya, he does still have a lot to learn. And the two do begin to talk about proper training. Midoriya actually taking off his shirt and showing All Might that he does have somewhat of a runner's body. A very lean and cut build, with a good amount of muscle. However, that's what they're going to be building upon. The young boy might be able to use One for All, right now, currently. his body might be able to hold it. But there's the fact that even then he still needs to train. And they do begin. Now, with that being said, I do believe that over the next few months, Midoriya, well, he begins his own proper training. He begins to just start running. All Might, he does get him on weight training, and Midoriya does tell All Might that running around all around the city and doing his own thing for a minute does help him. Now, with that being said, All Might basically lets Midoriya handle the running. Meanwhile, he himself can handle his own hero work. Now, there is also today, roughly about, well, 1 month later in All Might's training, Midoriya is running around. And he's not really even using his time manipulation, you can call it. And he does actually see somewhat of the improvements. He's been trying to push himself physically. Whenever he's physically pushing himself more, and not using the time dilation as he likes to refer to it as, he can understand his speed. Apparently he's actually somewhere around 250 to 300 without it. And he is currently zooming past the area. And he does actually begin to run up the walls. As soon as he does do that, this is whenever he goes back onto the ground. As soon as he lands, he goes to stand back up and take another step off. However, someone directly just blitzes past him and basically almost knocks Midoriya onto his ass. My bad. As soon as that does happen, Midoriya actually does begin to try and get back up. Meanwhile, the person does actually hit their brakes and come to a screeching halt, turning around and basically running up in a blue suit, and quickly beginning to apologize. Midoriya, on his feet, still trying to shake himself off, does look up to see a blue-haired girl who has her arms folded together and somewhat just her head bended down, apologizing and saying that she is very sorry, and that she was mainly just focused on her path. She didn't really think about somebody jumping in front of her. She was mainly just focused on trying to get above into another gear. Now, with that being said, Midoriya, he does somewhat say that that's fine. But, wait, gear? Her just saying yes, and pointing down to her leg. As soon as Midoriya sees that, he just goes, wait, isn't that... Are you related to Ingenium? Oh, you know my older brother. Know him? He's my favorite hero. Really? Wait a minute. What exactly is your quirk? Oh, it's kind of complicated. But I've met your brother. I've raced him before. Has he ever talked about me? I don't think so. Okay. Has he ever talked about a little kid who was able to outrun him? Yeah. Why? That's me! Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm fanning out a lot. I haven't seen your brother in a very long time. He sort of inspired me. He told me never to stop training. That sounds like something my brother would say. Anyways, Izuku Midoriya. Hi. My name's Lita. Or Lydia, really. Most people just call me Lita. Or Ida, really. Sort of a nickname my brother gave me. Sadly, it's stuck. Oh, okay, Ida? That's sort of weird. Yeah, I don't really make the rules. I sort of just follow them. Okay. Well, anyways, so, how exactly what's the fastest you've ever gone, if I might ask? You kind of blitzed past me pretty fast. I'd say around what is it, 150, 125? Oh, well, you see, I always dreamed about being faster than my brother. So I want to say my max speed is at least about 140, I want to say. Even then, that's a bit too much of a strain on my body. My engines begin to stall. And then there's the fact that I still need to work on my reciprocal burst. What? Oh, nothing. It's sort of a special thing I'm trying to do. It's basically where I overclock my engines and go faster. Really? Interesting. Anyways, I guess I'll see you around. Now, as soon as he does say that, Midori gets into a running stance. And this does somewhat confuse her. Midori is saying that this is actually very important. And that if she can keep up, just give it a shot. He'll only use, well, let's say about, I won't go faster than 150. Go faster then? Yup, now try and catch up. Midori says running off. Now, as soon as he does run off, Ida is left there. Her somewhat just shocked. Oh, wait, he wasn't joking? Crap. She started trying to run after him. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.